Close your eyes. You're a ruling elite, extremely powerful, the small minority group that actually controls how the world runs. Now open them. You have millions of people. You need them to wake up every morning and work. Not sometimes. Not when they feel like it. Every single day, for their entire lives. How do you do it? Well, someone figured out a system so effective that the workers would go into debt, sacrifice their health, neglect the people they love, and never once call it slavery. The first answer to how do you make people work was the most obvious one. You pick up that stone. Why? Because if not, I'll kill you. Fair enough. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was basically the global business model for a very long time. Physical slavery, from Egypt to Rome to the Atlantic slave trade, is the most intuitive system in history, and also the worst. Because slavery is actually a terrible management system. You have to feed the slaves, house the slaves, watch the slaves, punish the slaves, and constantly deal with the very inconvenient fact that the slaves do not, in fact, enjoy being slaves. So they do the absolute bare minimum to avoid punishment, not going above and beyond. And it's fragile. The moment the guards look away, the slaves run, or revolt. So rulers discovered something that changed everything. People don't work hard because they're forced. People work hard when they believe their work matters, when they have structure, meaning, and purpose. The question became, how do you manufacture that belief? First answer, war. War was brilliant. Nothing gives people meaning faster than a shared enemy. And even when there was no real threat, you could just invent one. Wartime economies are the most productive in history because survival is the most powerful motivator there is. But war had one tiny flaw. It ends. Eventually, the enemy goes away, peace breaks out, and people start asking dangerous questions like, hey, why am I still working 14 hours a day? So rulers needed something stronger, something permanent, something you could carry inside people's heads. Enter religion. Religion took what war did temporarily and made it permanent. What Max Weber would later call the Protestant work ethic turned labor into a moral duty. Monasteries built Europe's roads, farms, and libraries, not with slaves, but with monks who believed their labor was literally prayer. And unlike war, religion scaled beautifully. Older religions were a bit limited. The Greek gods, for example, were basically a giant divine family reunion where everyone was petty, jealous, and weirdly dramatic. You prayed to one god for harvests, another for love, another for war, and all of them seemed about 5 minutes away from ruining your life for entertainment. Very hard to build a unified civilization like that. But then came universal religions. One God, one truth, one moral code, much better branding. Christianity and Islam didn't just organize cities. They organized continents. That was a massive upgrade. But then came another problem. Belief fades. Churches split. Science challenges scripture. Secularization creeps in. So once again, humanity needed a new operating system. And this time, it made one itself. Civilization. Or more specifically, the nation. We are Romans. We are the British Empire. We are the chosen people of history, the pinnacle of human achievement. And if you work hard, obey, and sacrifice everything for the state, you get to be part of something glorious, which is very compelling. Humans love belonging to something bigger than themselves, especially when that something gives them uniforms, songs, banners, and a legal excuse to feel superior to foreigners. Right. Since we are the greatest civilization on Earth, it is our sacred duty to sail across the sea and civilize those poor, primitive savages. We'll teach them our ways, enlighten their souls, take all their gold, their land, their spices, purely to cover expenses, of course. And when we're done, we'll write a very moving book about how generous we were. It was a fantastic system. Right up until the conquered people started objecting. No objections to a quick ad break, though. Right now, AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile are doing exactly what Spain did, taking everything and calling it a service. Their actual business model is harvesting your data and selling it. And when they're not selling it, they're losing it in breaches. Every major US carrier has had one. A VPN doesn't fix this because the problem isn't at the app level. It's at the network level where your carrier lives. That's what Cape was built to solve. Cape is the only carrier built from the ground up for privacy, not renting AT&T's infrastructure, but running their own. You sign up with zero personal information. Your phone looks like a different device to the network every single day. Your call history is deleted every 24 hours, and only you can transfer your number, not Cape, not a hacker. Protect your privacy and your identity. Go to cape.co and use code CRAYON33 for 33% off. That is cape.co. Code CRAYON33 for 33% off. Link in the description. Now back to the video. Empires got huge, expensive, and impossible to control. And after 2 world wars, the whole sales pitch of our civilization is superior and must dominate the earth became slightly harder to market. So that myth began to crack too. And that was the pattern. Force, war, religion, nation, different systems. Same trick. Make people believe. But all of them depended on something external. So humanity simplified the formula. Just one symbol people would willingly destroy themselves for. Money was the perfect motivator. Why should I work hard? Because the more you work, the more you get. For me? Not the tribe? Not God? Me? You. I'm in. And it worked spectacularly. Money was brilliant because it was universal. It worked across borders, languages, and religions. Didn't matter who you were. Everybody understood the same magical idea. Number goes up equals let's freaking go. And once that idea took hold, the world went completely insane. Factories multiplied, cities exploded, railroads stretched across continents, production soared. The Industrial Revolution turned humanity from a species that occasionally made chairs into a machine that could mass produce 40,000 chairs before lunch. It was the biggest productivity boom in history. But there was a catch. Actually, 3. First, it's all-consuming. Capital only wants more capital. If poisoning a river makes the numbers go up, congratulations, the river is now poison. Second, money consolidates. Wealth does not spread itself around out of kindness. It piles up. Because if you already have money, it is much easier to make more money. So over time, the system starts doing what it does best, turning competition into monopoly, owners into empires, and a few rich guys into terrifyingly, obscenely rich guys. Third, it dehumanizes. You stop being a person and become a unit. A labor unit, a cost unit, a productivity unit. Your value becomes whatever the market says you're worth this quarter. And one very bearded man named Karl Marx looked at all this and said, "This seems bad. This system will chew workers up, make them miserable, and eventually they'll unite and overthrow it." Sure, Karl. No, really. That's nice, Karl. I'm serious. Alienation leads to class consciousness. Class consciousness leads to revolution. Mark my words. And awkwardly enough, Marx kind of had a point, because eventually workers did fight back. Not with one giant dramatic world revolution, but with strikes, unions, labor parties, protests, demands. And for a brief moment in the 20th century, they actually started winning. After World War II, the industrial world stumbled into a strange and deeply unsettling idea. What if society just treated workers decently? I know. Radical stuff. For a few decades, especially from the 1950s to the 1970s, a lot of Western countries tried something unusual. Higher wages, stronger unions, affordable education, better health care, a house, a car, a pension, and a family supported by one income. For one shining moment, the deal was simple. Work hard, and you can actually live a good life. This was the closest industrial society ever came to solving the motivation problem with something other than fear or manipulation. But there was one problem. The rich hated it. Wait, I have to share the gains with the workers? Yes, sir. They did help create them. That's ridiculous. I can only be driving a Porsche rich? Not private jet named after my dog rich? You would still be extremely wealthy, sir. This is tyranny. A worker-centered society doesn't just distribute money, it distributes power. And that was unacceptable. So in the 1980s, the rollback began. Reagan in America, Thatcher in Britain, unions crushed, regulations gutted, public assets sold off. The post-war compromise was dismantled piece by piece, and this created a problem. Because you can't just make life worse for millions of people and expect them to smile politely through it. People might revolt. Again, very inconvenient. So the elites needed a replacement, something that felt empowering, but kept people obedient. This was the final upgrade. The promise changed. Before, work hard and you can build a good life. Now, work hard and you can buy more stuff. You were defined by what you consumed. I'm a hardworking father, a loyal friend, and an honest member of the community. That's cute. But what color is your Bugatti? And this single change solved every problem that every previous system couldn't. Let's take a look at an example. Give 500 people $1 million each. What happens? Everyone buys a house. What happened next? posted online. Everyone could see everyone else's house. Now they don't feel special and want a bigger house. R. They go into debt competing, which eventually ends up with them being broke, isolated, and hating each other. Consumerism turns people into competitors instead of collaborators. You can't organize a revolution when everyone's fighting each other for the next upgrade. The system atomized the collective. It made solidarity impossible, not through force, but through desire. But the real genius, the thing that makes this the perfect form of slavery, is that a traditional slave knows they're enslaved. That's why they rebel. A consumer doesn't know. Worse, they chose this. No one forces you. You will never rebel against a system you voluntarily participate in and find pleasurable. You'll never say, I'm going to stop buying things because it's ruining my life. It just won't happen. The chains are invisible, self-imposed, and comfortable. Close your eyes. You're a ruling elite, extremely powerful, the small minority group that actually controls how the world runs. Now open them. You have millions of people. You need them to wake up every morning and work. Not sometimes. Not when they feel like it. Every single day, for their entire lives. How do you do it? Well, someone figured out a system so effective that the workers would go into debt, sacrifice their health, neglect the people they love, and never once call it slavery. The first answer to, how do you make people work, was the most obvious one. You pick up that